Good morning, good evening. Zimbabwe is a failed state. I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again because it is true. And until we can seriously search for why is Zimbabwe a failed state and address that root cause, the country is going nowhere. We just be going round and round in circles. One of the reasons why Zimbabwe is a failed state is that we never seem to learn from the past. We have a knack for repeating the same foolish mistake because we never paused to look at what happened in the past and say to ourselves, what lessons can we learn from yesterday? One of the things that is gripping the nation at the moment is this issue of Mnangagwa staying in power until 2030. Mnangagwa is a corrupt, incompetent, and murderous thug. In 2017, it was shocking that people should have thought the replacement of Mugabe with Mnangagwa would be a solution. It wasn't. It could not possibly be a solution. Someone in one of my social media groups was comparing it, what happened in 2017, to the removal of the alpha crocodile in a body of water, which you know is infested with crocodiles. Removing the alpha crocodile will not make those waters safe. If you realize that we've got a problem with crocodiles here, what you need to do is remove all the crocodiles. Just removing one is not enough. And to celebrate it the way the people celebrated it goes to show that people had no clue what this was all about. Here is Dr. Simbama Koni talking to Trevor. Reflections of what happened in 2017.
The new dispensation. You have known President Emerson Mnangagwa for a long time. Why have we gotten to where we are so quickly? There was a time, Simba, why I'm saying that 2 years ago, when people thought things were going to change. I was one of those people. Did we misread Emerson Mnangagwa, or this is the real Emerson Mnangagwa?
First, let me say, if it's not impolite, what new dispensation?
Mm-hmm.
There is no new dispensation. Firstly, did we misread? Who we have is Emerson Mnangagwa. I can't say I know him very well. We served together in cabinet at Independence. We served together in the party at various times. But I would be dishonest if I say I know him as well and as closely as I knew other people, or even as I knew President Mugabe, for example, who I said I used to spend a lot of time talking to on a whole range of issues. I didn't have the same relation. We were cordial colleagues in a team. So I can't speak much about his personality, but the character he is displaying as president of Zimbabwe is as I know him.
So nothing surprises you.
Again, I don't want to sound like I said so. When the 18th of November took place, I didn't participate. I had a conversation with Morgan Tsvangirai, and I called Joyce Mujuru as well. And when the inauguration took place on November 24, again, I had a call with Morgan Tsvangirai, and I advised that he shouldn't participate in that because I didn't think that this was real change. Trevor, I say this with tongue in cheek because obviously time has passed. But when it happened, and I want to suggest to you, the viewers and listeners who have the opportunity, to go and read General Chiwenga's statement before Asante Sana, and also to read Sibusiso Moyo's statement
announcing
the president is safe. If you read anything in those statements that has anything to do with the condition of life of the people of Zimbabwe, if you see anything that doesn't have to do with power, the power contest between two groups within ZANU-PF, then I will come and make a public apology.
He's absolutely right. The truth of the matter is, the 2017 military coup, we could see that all it was going to accomplish was removing one dictator to replace him with another. How anyone could see that as a solution beggars belief. The removal of one crocodile in a crocodile-infested river does not make the river safe. I think, if the truth be told, and at the present moment we are facing that possibility that there may be yet another coup, and most of the actors, at least those who are still alive, will participate and support that military coup. Even when we know that the result will be replacing Mnangagwa with Chiwenga, yet another corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical thug. And yet some people will support it. History will repeat itself. So we need to ask ourselves, why did the likes of Morgan Tsvangirai fail to heed the warning? He didn't have to wait for Dr. Makoni to warn him that the changes that were being offered here were just token changes. Nothing was going to change. Why didn't he take the warning? Well, one can also ask, why did Morgan Tsvangirai and his MDC friends fail to implement even one token reform during the 2008 to 2013 GNU when they had the golden opportunity to do so? The answer to that is greed. Robert Mugabe bribed Morgan Tsvangirai and his colleagues with the trappings of high office, the E-Class Mercedes-Benz ministerial cars, the very generous salaries and allowances, and for Morgan Tsvangirai, the US $4 million mansion in Highlands. And they forgot about the reforms. They supported the military coup of 2017 because one of the key operatives in that coup, Chris Mtsangwa, promised Tsvangirai and company that the new dispensation would have a new GNU. And the prospects of another GNU, another E-Class Mercedes-Benz, and all the trappings of high office were so enticing that Morgan Tsvangirai discharged himself from his South Africa hospital bed because he did not want to miss the opportunity of being in the GNU. But as soon as the people had gone out in the street, there are hundreds of thousands, and Mugabe had relented and reluctantly signed his resignation letter. ZANU-PF thugs came out and said the military coup was an in-house thing. There will be no GNU. Maybe to placate Morgan Tsvangirai and the other opposition leaders, Mnangagwa promised that he would hold free, fair, and credible elections. And the elections were to be held within 8 months. So the opposition were asked to wait. Of course, he didn't keep his promise. But the point had been made. By coming out in their hundreds of thousands, Zimbabweans had given the 2017 military coup legitimacy. Although those who organized the coup did not make a big song and dance about they were going to replace Mugabe with Mnangagwa. That was obvious. And as soon as the opportunity arose, they went ahead and did that without further ado. So for Morgan Tsvangirai, the reason for participating was greed. But what about the ordinary people? Well, for the millions of MDC supporters, when they saw Morgan Tsvangirai and other MDC leaders participating, they saw that as a green light for them to participate too. So they came out in their hundreds of thousands to support the military coup. So for the ordinary people, it was out of ignorance. The same ignorance that has made millions of Zimbabweans participate in flawed elections, ignoring the warning that by participating, they will be giving ZANU-PF political legitimacy. And most significantly, that they were being conned by their own leaders to participate because the said leaders were after the few gravitering seats that ZANU-PF offered as inducement to the opposition to participate. And the opposition did not want to appear to be to be greedy. They could not jolly well tell their supporters, we want you to participate in these flawed elections so that we, your leaders, can win the few seats on offer from ZANU-PF. So they told their supporters that the opposition would win the elections. In 2018, Nelson Chamisa told the supporters that MDC alliance had stringent measures to stop ZANU-PF rigging the elections. And in 2023, he told them a similar lie, that he had plugged all the vote rigging loopholes. Hashtag God is in it. The truth of the matter is that he was just lying. He had not done any such thing. This is the tragedy of Africa. This is the tragedy of Zimbabwe. Participating, or rather supporting, the 2017 military coup was foolish. And right now, Geza and his fellow war veterans, the five amigos, who came out and denounced Mnangagwa as corrupt, incompetent, etc., and demanded that he should go, awaiting the opportunity to have him booted out. It is not clear how that is going to be done, whether it's going to be purely people coming out in the street to stage street protests, or they're going to be led by the army and have another coup. It's not very clear. But whatever happens, the five amigos will go nowhere if they fail to attract Zimbabweans, ordinary Zimbabweans, in the hundreds of thousands to support that protest. As much as the protest itself makes sense, they are protesting to stop Mnangagwa staying in power beyond 2028. What must be understood by the ordinary people is that Mnangagwa is not the only dictator in ZANU-PF. Removing Mnangagwa only to replace him with Chiwenga does not help the people of Zimbabwe. That is the argument. The removal of one crocodile in a crocodile-infested river does not make the water safe. We want a healthy and functioning democracy in Zimbabwe. And we are not willing to be told that removal of Mnangagwa is enough to make Zimbabwe a healthy and functioning democracy. It's not. And we should not support that. And this is the reason why Zimbabweans should ignore the five amigos promised signal to go out in the street. People should learn from the past. Like Dr. Sibama Kone said in this video clip, the real Mnangagwa we see today is the Mnangagwa we would have seen all along. Corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical. How anyone would have accepted the removal of Mnangagwa, of Mugabe, to replace him with Mnangagwa as a solution beggars belief. We should not repeat that mistake. We should not accept the removal of Mnangagwa only to replace him with Chiwenga as a solution. We want a healthy and functioning democracy. We want an electoral process that allows all the people of Zimbabwe to have a meaningful say on who governs the country. We want an end to the present political system that has given the ruling party, ZANU-PF, absolute power. The only people to whom they seem to be accountable to are the war veterans. They have the veto on who rules Zimbabwe. We want the power to decide who rules Zimbabwe retained to all Zimbabweans. The only person to rule the country must have the mandate from all Zimbabweans in a free, fair, and credible election. That is the demand that we should make, and we must make. And we should not compromise on that. I repeat, the removal of Mnangagwa to replace him with Chiwenga is no solution at all. And we cannot be expected to celebrate that, particularly after 45 years of rigged elections and swapping one dictator with another. Thank you very much. Have a good day.